Hello everyone! Alright, I've been using this dock for a few weeks now, and it's got some highs and lows to it. Functionally, it works very well. First of all, it's a really great plug-and-play solution. You just plug your deck into the dock, and as long as the HDMI is connected to the TV, then the deck knows what you're trying to do and it sends a signal to the TV instead of to its own screen. The only thing I didn't like about that is that the deck doesn't seem to be able to wake up your TV by just turning it on. That feature, which you see a lot on like streaming boxes and game consoles, it's called HDMI CEC, and from what I can tell, it is not a feature of the Steam Deck. There's no way to activate it, but that is a very minor gripe. Getting that ability would just allow me to be a little bit more lazy. Now going into this review, like I told you before, I wanted to keep an open mind, but I also felt that this review should have a goal. This is an accessory that needs to add functionality to your deck to be worth the price. There must be a reason to buy this thing, and it needs to be more than just providing HDMI out. The way I see it, their competition is this: a $9 USB-C to HDMI adapter I got at the store. And if all this dock is good for is the HDMI out, then it's obvious where the better deal is between these two. And no, I do not think that being able to charge while using TV out is an amazing, life-changing ability. But I'm not saying that I didn't have fun when I was just using this purely as an HDMI adapter. It does that job very well. Let me show you some of those games I've been enjoying when I pair this device with my TV and my deck. The first game I want to show you is called Going Under. This is quickly becoming one of my favorite dungeon crawlers ever. It works like any other dungeon crawler or roguelite, but instead of having a medieval high fantasy setting, it's in a modern Silicon Valley startup. If you enjoy the crowdfunding takedowns I've done on my channel before, then this game is right up your alley. It makes fun of all these pretentious, overhyped startup companies. The game has an excellent sense of humor. This release went straight over my head. I think it fell into the vacuum of 2020, because I never heard it talked about when it was new, which is a shame. But thanks to that, it's super cheap now. I'm going to include a link to a site where I see that it's part of a bundle. You can get this game and two others for $5 total, and $5 for this game alone is an amazing deal. Now, just like I told you in that first video, I assure you there is no backroom deal going on. I'm getting nothing from promoting these games, or adding that link to the video description. I'm just letting you know because I've had a really great time playing them on the hardware we're looking at, and I think you might too. The next game I want to show you is Rogue Legacy. Now, again, I do not do well with a medieval high fantasy type of setting. I'm the type of person who only goes to a Renaissance fair for turkey legs and beer. But that means that if I find a medieval high fantasy game that I like, then it must be really good. I got this game years ago. I tried it, I realized how easily you can die and lose all your coins, and then I put it down to play something else. That just wasn't for me. But I installed it on the deck just for the hell of it, and now I totally get it. I understand how the developer added variety to a very basic game by including this death and successor mechanic, and I'm enjoying it a lot. This game is super cheap because it's an old indie that's way past its prime. And the last game I want to show you is Outer Wilds. This game needs no introduction. I'm sure you've heard about it. All I can add is that this game plays like a dream. I don't mean that like it plays perfectly, because it doesn't. On the deck, it has very noticeable frame rate drop while exploring on foot. It goes down to like 30 FPS and below, which is still playable, but when you're flying the ship, it runs at a pretty constant 60 FPS. What I meant when I said that it plays like a dream is that the gameplay feels like how you would dream about spaceflight. It is so fun to just get in the ship and go exploring with no objective in mind. It's a similar feeling to when you get the wing cap in Mario 64. It's so simple, but so fun to dive into this world with these abilities. I put a few hours into this game. I'm nowhere near the end, but I'm having so much fun that I don't care. I don't want to follow a guide, I'm discovering things little by little. I play this game when I have a couple hours to zone out and enjoy it. Sometimes there's a few days between my gameplay sessions, sometimes a week, but I always leave with a smile. It'll probably take me like a year to finish this, because it's my perfect chill out game. It's great. Alright, now getting back to the deck's features, I did try out the Ethernet port and it works well, which is great because out of all of my devices, for some reason the deck seems to have trouble maintaining an internet connection and decent download speeds. So that did solve some headaches for me, but it might only be my home that has that issue. You may not be suffering from that with your Wi-Fi. However, I found that the USB ports on this dock hang on really tightly to the cables when you're using the port furthest from the center. And as you move closer to the center, they hang on less and less. I don't know if that's a manufacturing issue. Are they all like this? Is it just mine? I'm not sure, but they all connected just fine, and assuming your dock is going to stay in one place usually, then it shouldn't be a problem. Now that's all well and good. It seems this thing is well made, but I'm still trying to find a good use for this dock. I started to think about storage because that's been a big problem with the deck this whole time. I got the base model because I'm cheap, and the internal storage fills up very quickly. I have a 256 PNY XLR8 gaming memory card, and that was the biggest size they had in stock when I got my deck. But even that fills up fast if I'm installing AAA titles, so storage is always on my mind when I'm gaming on the deck. Without opening it up, an obvious solution would be to get a higher capacity SD card or just carry more than one. But then I thought, hey, wait a minute. I have a spare 1TB USB hard drive that I'm not using right now. How about I just connect it to the dock? That way I could have more space at home for games I don't intend to play on the go. And because this drive was just collecting dust, it solves my problem pretty much for free. So I emptied this hard drive because I figured it'll probably ask me to reformat it once I plug it in. I hooked it up to the dock, and hey, look, it has a blue light. That's a good sign. That means I could use it as USB 3.0. Any less and the light turns white. But then I go into storage on the deck and it's not there. So I searched online for a solution. I found this article and it says, you can use an external USB drive or flash drive with your Steam Deck, but the process is complicated and you will need to enter desktop mode every time you reconnect the drive. It also says, the only situation where using an external USB drive would make sense would be if you have your Steam Deck plugged into a USB-C dock and rarely remove it. What the fuck? Why would I rarely remove my Steam Deck? So you're telling me I gotta go through this pain in the ass every time I want to use external storage? I looked at some other articles and it turns out that there is a way to mount it in terminal and format the drive so that way you don't have to keep doing that, but the process is so complicated that I do not even want to attempt it. So I tried out what the article said, I went into desktop mode, and sure enough the drive shows up just fine. It's very useful for transferring files and that sort of thing, especially if you're setting up emulators. But of course you can't remove it because then you'll have to redo the process all over again. I couldn't believe it. I was telling myself, this can't be. I must be missing something. There has to be an easier way. So I typed into Google Steam Deck Dock USB HDD. The second result that pops up is this Reddit thread. Can a Steam Deck use an external hard drive considering it's using a USB port? And the top answer says, yes, it's just a PC. It can do anything a PC can. And yes, I'm assuming the My Gamer Archive guy wrote this. But no, that answer's not right. It can't do it. It doesn't work. Then I also noticed the date that was posted, and it's over a year old. This guy answering this thread is just making shit up. There's no way he had a Steam Deck at this point. There's no way he could check if it was true, but he just says it. After reading all of these different answers, I was very confused. So I tried to sell it by checking the official dock page. It does not list storage as one of the features of the Steam Dock, which reinforces my belief that the deck is designed to be used in gaming mode. So having it work only in desktop mode, as it does now, is not a satisfactory solution. Some people online have said that it could be added in the future, and to their credit, Valve has added some features along the way. But as we saw, some people online just pull things straight out of their ass. I have to review things as they exist today, not how I think they'll be fixed later. Guys, am I crazy? Let me answer that question for you. I think not. If your product is going to have a USB port and it connects to a computer, give me one good reason why you wouldn't think that you can use storage devices with it just like any other computer could. Isn't that what the U in USB stands for? Get this. When I needed to record footage for my Steam Deck review, I went to the store and I got that $9 USB-C to HDMI adapter. I didn't even check online beforehand to see if you can get video out of the deck. I just assumed it would work. That's how I would expect a USB-C port to work. And guess what? It worked just fine. My expectation was the correct one to make. So when regular USB storage wasn't working, I felt like I was going insane. So I checked one more spot, the iVoler SDO2 user manual. And sure enough, it says twice that the USB ports allow you to connect hard disks. How dare you turn my channel into a house of lies! Actually, I don't blame iVoler for that. Technically, they did say it was designed to work with other devices like tablets, so I would assume that works with USB storage just fine, thus making their manual correct. But I do blame Valve. Why? Why would you release a dock with USB ports if they don't work? I don't think fully functional USB ports are a big thing to ask for. Now this really makes me think that the deck was a device that was rushed out. They should have delayed at least the dock until those ports were ready for gaming mode. I've installed Linux on other devices, and I don't recall ever having problems with USB storage on them. I haven't found any solution from Valve as to why they wouldn't allow USB storage to work in game mode, or why it wouldn't be important for them to fix it right away, especially after they've already released their own dock. Even if they had a specific reason, I wouldn't think it's a good one, because the deck is supposed to be PC gaming's answer to handheld gaming. One of the tenets of PC gaming should be that users are given tools and applications and we decide how to use them. If I want to drain my battery twice as quickly while dangling a USB hard drive out of my deck, then let me do that. Just give me the ability to do it and I'll figure it out from there. Otherwise, it is insane to me that Valve released a dock with USB ports that don't act like USB ports. I do not understand the marketing decision behind that. So if I can't use it for storage, what can I do with the USB ports while in game mode? Well, you can connect controllers and a keyboard and mouse. You could charge your phone, I guess. And despite what the iVoler manual hopes for, I don't think many people are going to be connecting a steering wheel to their Steam Deck with this dock. So yeah, I'm not impressed with this. If all I can do in gaming mode is connect more hardwired controllers, then this is basically just a modern multi-tap. I'm sure someone out there wants that, so then here you go, this is perfect for you. If you have no use for that, then that leaves you with the power, Ethernet, and HDMI port. If you absolutely need a dock for Ethernet because you can't get stable Wi-Fi wherever you are, then you should get a dock like this because you don't have a lot of other options. That is an actual need, and this is a solution for that need. In that case, I can give the iVoler dock my highest recommendation, because it's cheaper than the official one. By a lot, it's almost 50% cheaper and seemingly does the exact same thing. But if you don't have that specific need for it, then all we have here is an HDMI out that can charge your deck while you play. I hate to give this thing a negative review because I've been enjoying it. Like I said, I played great games on my TV with this dock. But would I get the same enjoyment laying down on the couch and playing these games with the deck in my hands? Yeah, probably. I mean, that's what the deck is for, it's a handheld. If I just wanted to play PC games on my TV, then I could just get a super long HDMI cable or a mini PC. It sucks that the USB issue isn't this company's fault, but without fully functioning USB ports, I just don't see how this provides much more than a $9 HDMI adapter. And that's all I got for today. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.